Everybody, happy Wednesday. It's Chris Castleman here with Brandi Martindale and Perry Holman. We're back, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Is this our first show of the new year?
It is.
All right.
Sorry about that. I've been quite busy. And yeah. But anyways, Perry, you look stealth mode.
Yes. Hiding in my truck.
All right. Are you driving or are you parked?
I'm parked.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. How's it been? It's been like a month since we've done one of these.
Well, I've been good. I've been doing, I've gone to the Merkley event, gone to a couple of Board of Commissioners meetings, gone to a hospital finance meeting. I think since we've chatted, got to see lots of stuff going on. Most of it really positive. Most of it has actually been pretty inspiring. The stuff that's happening local in Coos County with our local people seems to be going pretty well. When it comes to our state leaders, like, we're totally screwed, man.
Yeah. That's why I try not to get involved in anything state or federal. That's cool though. You've been going to all those meetings. I know I was I did, zoomed into a Board of Commissioner meeting and they mentioned that you were there.
Yeah.
I didn't make.
And you had the suggestion to standardize the announcements for the open positions on committees, and they're going through with that. So that's pretty cool. And this last meeting, there was a cover sheet for that exact issue, and they're looking at how to make sure that they all get published and everybody has an opportunity to run for those as they'd like.
Cool. I guess better late than never. Yeah, I asked for it like a year ago and kind of got ignored. But I just spoke with Commissioner Taylor's wife yesterday about it because I missed the meeting. I'll have to go check the replay. But it sounds like, they're going forward with it. So that's cool. They had in the finance committee for the county. So it's the 3 commissioners and then 3 appointed positions on the finance committee, and they do the whole budget every year for the county. And the past 2 years they've just appointed people, and they just appointed the same people that are already on it, and they do it in what's called the consent calendar. It's essentially like a big giant list of things that they just vote in all at once, and it's usually like pay raises and but like standard pay raises, like when you work for the government, you have
the 3% or one,
right?
Yeah.
And it's just standard stuff that's not really controversial. Doesn't really need any discussion. And I just find it very odd that they put that in the consent calendar, and it's been 2 years in a row, and I'm sure they've done it for years and years and years before. It's just bizarre. So I called it out last year, called it out again. And last year they actually they actually pulled it out of the consent calendar and waited on that vote for I believe about a month until they published the not vacancy. Well, yeah, I guess I don't know how to describe it. Like, essentially you have a term.
The open position. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a 2-year term. So when it's up, you could reapply, like the same person could do it, but everybody in the public needs to know that it's available. Otherwise, the same people just get to do it every year forever, and then people wonder why we have the same budgetary problems. Well, the same decisions are being made every single year. So
fresh eyes can be a good thing. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So, anyways, but yeah. So then this year they didn't block it. It got voted in. Now they could undo that vote. But based on who's on the commission, on the Board of Commissioners, I doubt they'll undo the vote. Pretty weird to me. Also, because the guy getting voted in is running for commissioner, he's one of the 4 candidates running for commissioner.
So they would
Odd.
need to fill that seat if he became commissioner, because you
Right.
can't fill 2 seats, right? So they would have to fill it anyway. Yeah. It's a lot of it is like you mentioned that you would like to actually join the committee, which is amazing because a lot of people don't. We could use more people stepping up and saying, "Hey, I want to learn how this works and I want to be involved in it."
Well, ever since getting involved like 2 or 3 years ago, stepping up and like the moment you step up at a public meeting, like a city council meeting or a commissioner meeting, and you're critical, the very first thing that they all tell you is like, well, what have you been doing? And you don't get involved, and you guys never do anything, and you don't know what you're talking about, and then when you try to get involved, they're like, well, we're going to appoint somebody on the consent calendar without anybody knowing, and then we'll still tell the citizens that they don't get involved enough and they don't know what the budget is, and they're not involved in the budget process. And it's like, gosh, come on. The 2 years ago, I sat in all the budget meetings. It was like March and April. They had like a whole week. It's not a whole week. It's like 3 days. But yeah, I sat through all that. I did a public records request to get 20 years of the county budget, and I guess that just wasn't enough. I don't know. Anywho,
I thought it was, you kicked up the shit pot, and it woke up a lot of people, and a lot of people, because of the contention you created, a lot of people woke up.
hopefully.
I mean, there's more than one way to be effective, right? Like, not everyone should be approaching the problem the way you do, but you offer a completely different approach to solutions. Basically what I'm saying is your skill set is valuable, and so is like the people who are doing the day to day. Like, you're right, they don't have fresh eyes, but they're still doing kind of the monotonous day to day, seeing the policies through, seeing the projects through. And you come in as kind of a disruptor, and like, yeah, that's uncomfortable for people to experience, but it's also so valuable because you offer fresh eyes. And as long as you're a person in leadership that can set your ego aside and just take the criticism in without taking it personally, it can be very, very valuable. So keep doing what you're doing.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned people stepping up. We absolutely have been seeing that. We've been having meetings for the Republican Party, and more people are showing up. We're getting more and more excitement around events. We've got an event this Saturday with Monique Despain. She actually was here last month and joined us in North Bend. This time we're doing it at Cafe 101 in Coos Bay. Apparently they're not open on Saturdays, but they're going to open up for us, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
So we're going to have some appetizers and things like that. And yeah, it should be a good time. So she'll be there. If people aren't familiar with Monique, she's running against Val Hoyle. So it's Congressional District 4. Oregon gets, I believe, 6 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives in the U.S. Congress. And Monique is running for one of those seats, and it spans from like Lincoln City, Newport area all the way down to the coast, and then inland to, I want to say, Eugene, kind of like a weird shape there. But essentially, if you're conservative, this is your best chance of ever having any sort of federal representation from Oregon. That actually,
Chris, I have not heard anybody talk about this. Our senator seats are up. Merkley
this
and
year?
Wyden. Yeah.
Oh wow. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. But honestly, they're gonna go Democrat. I don't know. I don't think we've solved that problem yet. We need to reach a bigger critical mass first.
I don't see how a good candidate couldn't beat him. He's
They'd have
a
to be super
terrible
moderate.
leader. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I said how I feel in the video after I came out. I went on like a tangent. I was like uncomfortable in that meeting. Like, I felt like I was surrounded by people who might actually kind of like psychologically snap, because that was the vibe in the room, because these people were not connected to reality. They were pure, it was pure irrational emotion. And that is like the thing that makes me, especially like growing up around domestic violence as a child, that is the thing that makes me like super nervous. And both, a friend happened to show up there, kind of without orchestration, and her and I were both looking at each other like, what
Pretty
the
wild.
f?
Was that Shasta?
Yeah, yeah,
She did a good write up on that. I really
she did.
appreciated her because I wanted to go, but and some people would ask me, but I went to one of them before, and you're just wasting your time. Sadly, like I know everybody wants to believe in like, oh, stick it to the man, go there and voice your opinion and be heard. It's like, but they're not listening. They don't care about you.
No, no, I did not go thinking that I was going to be able to like voice, that was not, they were not offering me a platform. I went because I wanted to see it for myself. If I hadn't seen it for myself, I wouldn't
It's an
believe how bad it
experience.
was. It was an experience. Like, the fact that none of the people in this room gave a shit about Coos County at all. Like, none of these people cared at all about our local issues.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's
I think
why.
there's a
And
day in the future that we could, and maybe this is a year out, maybe it's 4 years out, I don't know, but there'll be a day that he comes to our town, and I think we can fill every one of those seats with conservatives, and it'll be a very different experience for him and a different meeting.
I think that
And
should happen this year if
that's
we
kind
get
of
the
what I'm working
chance.
on. This year, I don't know. That might be tough, but right, like if that could be our goal someday and we could get there, that's a much better. Uh, let's just call it an FU to the liberal regime, than just me going there and saying my piece. Because I did get to speak. Geez, it was almost 2 years ago. Um, but they don't
Oh, he
listen.
won't,
They
he'll
just
never
take your
give an
question
honest
and
answer.
redirect it. Yep.
I mean, the guy is as full of hot air. Like, I'm surprised he's not from the Windy City with the way he blows. But seeing that interaction and seeing the way he riles up his constituents with irrational emotion, that's
Yep.
why, like, he is why Oregon is in the state it's in. He's why our state has such high crime and is so industry unfriendly, because
I
it's,
gotta
yeah.
get I gotta get Barry in on this. We've got 13 minutes and just silence with Perry. What Perry? What do you think about the state leadership, like the senators, our governor? What's up?
It, it's not leadership. It's I don't even know what you could call it. It's just giving radicals what they want, not and not even you don't care about what's best for Oregon. You care about what's best for the special select minority groups, and that obviously won't help anybody. But it's yeah, it's different. I'm just look at the added taxes that were passed, and then um, we got it to where we could vote on it and everything, and it's it's just evident they don't care what real people think
Well, yeah,
or
they
want.
passed something in the legislature, like almost knowing that it would not be acceptable with the citizens, and then the citizens revolted and said, "Hell no, we don't want that." So then they took it away, and then they're gonna try something else just as dumb. Like they're just not. Um, trying. And part of it is because they get away with it. Like they don't have to, and they still get elected. It's
Yeah.
insane. I mean,
Because
people
the
will
majority of Oregonians don't want leaders. They want people that'll tell them they'll do what they want them to do, and that's it. It's not. There's nothing about leading, nothing about making anything better. It's all about garbage.
Yep.
That was one thing I've noticed is nothing constructive. There's never like anything positive and constructive that comes out of that group. It's all hate and opposition.
So my basic fundamental thought of anybody who's elected, any senators as a whole, all of it, they should have a very simple job because they shouldn't have to do anything. You don't need new laws. When the internet came out, okay, now you need to maybe think about passing a couple new laws because that's something completely new, completely different. But every year, you shouldn't need to be changing up all kinds of stuff and staying busy passing all this stuff. There's no reason to add additional regulation every single year, and they do. And for nothing. You should be able to sit there. Commissioners should be able to sit there and almost do nothing all year long. You're not trying to.
What you mentioned it earlier. You're talking about them serving minorities essentially and always doing what they think is best for the minority. That ends up creating more problems, which then they have to solve through extra legislation, essentially, right?
Right.
It's never long-term sighted. It's always short-sighted. Let's put the Band-Aid on the emotional issue, and 7 more issues come up because of it. So,
right. If you think about it, okay, get rid of everybody we voted into office. What? Do it for 10 years. What would actually be wrong with that? You could still get your budgets. That's kind of an issue. But assuming everybody can still get paid and do their jobs and all of that, other than that, what would be wrong with having no elected official in a seat in all of Oregon? Nothing would change, and it would be just fine, except for the bad things that they've introduced. But things wouldn't get worse.
We should get a break every 10 years. And there's a year gap. And everybody resets. And if you were elected in that 10 years, you can't be elected in the next decade. Seriously,
it's not a bad idea.
Interesting. Yeah. Term limits for sure are needed.
It's just crazy when you look at like the constitutional amendments that have been made to protect Congress and like sequester more power for themselves. It's just been amendment after amendment that has abdicated them of responsibility and given them more power. And nothing, of course, they'll never vote to limit power on themselves.
Well, that is one cool thing about Oregon is the ballot initiatives. So the citizens could do that someday. I'd like to do that for Coos County, set up some sort of term limits for some local offices. I mean, the general one, I think, would just be 8 years. It's a pretty basic, pretty standard. I don't know why anyone would need more than 8 for any position at all. Yeah. So maybe we could work on that for November. If people are interested, so we've got this meeting tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at the North Bend Library, and one of the things we're going to talk about is our ballot initiatives. It's probably too late to get one on the primary ballot in May, and I don't think we would want them on there anyway. I think the better bet would be to put them on in November. But if people have ideas, term limits is a great example. Maybe we could just start with like one position, like the commissioner seat, and say, 8 years or 12 years even, like start at a bigger number. I'd go for 8, but anyways, it's a good conversation to have and we should have it. And then I believe it's like 3,000 signatures are needed to put something on for Coos County for a countywide initiative, but you can do ones in the cities. Uh, the state ones are much more complicated, but yeah, we got our yearly planning meeting tomorrow, and we're going to talk about all sorts of things. What do we want to do this year? What do we want to accomplish? How do we accomplish it? Who's going to help us? I'll probably form some committees and things for certain specific initiatives. But yeah, all are welcome as long as you're constructive.
I'll be there. There's
All right, very cool.
a gentleman that there's a guy that's actually running against Merkley. His name is Doug Muck, and he would like to come down here and speak to us here in Coos County. So I'll be bringing him up at the meeting and talking about getting him vetted for not an endorsement, but to go ahead and do what we can do to host him and give him a platform so that people can meet him.
Yeah, we're starting to get a lot of requests for meet and greets and events and stuff. So I can't possibly organize all those things. So that's part of tomorrow. We're going to figure out who's going to help out planning with those and be
Nice.
point of contact for certain positions. But the primary actually might be locally not really relevant. If there's only two people running for the commissioner seats, it goes onto the November ballot. So there might not actually be like too much stuff at stake on that primary ballot, which would be a good thing because I don't know if we're really ready. we're still growing. We're in the growing phase, so which is good. We're growing, but we definitely need a little more organization and more help, and we're still being completely obstructed by the Republican Party chair, Michael Brainard. He refuses to answer any emails, phone calls. He refuses to have any meetings. So that whole crazy ridiculousness.
Man, I kind of feel bad for him because, like, I don't know that he has the gray matter to really fully understand the consequences of his actions. Where is he going to work after this? Like, how is this dude going to earn a living after putting on this absolute circus that he's created?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, we had an executive meeting in December, and it was literally brought up that we need to have a work session to kick off the year and plan. And they set a date, January 22nd, 6 p.m. I even asked, like, in an email thread, is that for sure a meeting? And the secretary was like, yes, that's when we're having it. And we're going to elect more PCPs and we're going to do a work session. And then I asked, like, okay, like, where's the email invite? Like, when is this meet? Where, can what is going on? And no one got back to me. And then finally I said, all right, well, I'm just going to do the meeting myself. And then the secretary and the treasurer got mad. How dare you? You have no authority to do this. You have no authority to call the meeting that we all agreed that we should have. How dare you?
The audacity to tell you that you can't have like, we're grown-ups and we'll do what we want. Thank you. And the judge is already, like, he's literally, isn't he in contempt of court?
I don't even know. It's just nuts. I mean, like, I have a higher authority to the people of Coos County. There's almost 16,000 registered Republicans in this county, and as vice chair, we have a duty to have meetings. I have a duty to keep the party moving and organized and marching forward. It is absolutely crazy to me that people still support this non-existent regime. I don't even know what to call it. I mean, essentially, he has abandoned the chair position. He's just not doing anything. He won't have. I don't know. I really don't want to talk about it. It's insane. We're moving forward. We're having a meeting tomorrow, 6 p.m. and we're going to plan. And there's tons of people that are coming and ready to work. We've been having events. We've been having multiple events every single week. We've been having bigger events that have been well attended. We're having the huge events next week for Turning Point. We've been raising money. I mean, it's a functioning party without any sort of legitimacy, I guess. It's just very bizarre to me. But that's, I guess, people's true intentions are being shown. That's what they want. So
Yeah.
if you want to be
And
productive and move forward, join us tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the library.
the thing is, functionally, though, you're doing all the things that a party needs to do. You're vetting candidates, you're collecting funds for events, you're getting people active. Really, the push to make sure that people re-register themselves to vote in the next few months. This is super important because our voter rolls are getting cleaned up. So telling people you need to re-register just to make sure that you are registered, and drop your ballot off at the courthouse. Don't rely on the mail to get your ballot where it needs to go. Those two things, really, we got to push hard to get voters engaged, because if conservatives don't vote, whether they're Republican or not, they could be a NAV voter that still lean conservative. If we don't get people to vote, we're not going to win this.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that are involved in it. I mean, we also need to have exciting candidates that motivate people to come out and vote. We have to have exciting, motivating leaders, like not just candidates, just regular people out there, business owners, parents. Anyways, getting people
I've been thinking a
excited
lot,
and involved.
that exact thing as a candidate, how to attract voters, like how to get people engaged. So there's a little bit of a thing in politics where you want to be spicy enough to get people's attention, but not too spicy that people think you are irrational and petty and petulant. So it's kind of this fine line where if you're not a little bit provocative, you're just like a vanilla, bran muffin that no one's inspired to actually vote for, and so they don't cast their ballot. And so that's been kind of like a line I'm trying to figure out, is where is that, like, how do I
you're doing it because you're all by yourself, essentially. You're not backed by any sort of machine, right? You don't have any political party behind you or PAC behind you. So that's kind of why you're like, like I have to kind of figure that on my own. I have to be spicy or not, or what, I have to reach out. And it's like, that's not normally how it should work. Like, well, I mean, like occasionally, right? If you're an independent candidate, that's kind of just how it goes. But it's like almost every candidate is independent if you're not liberal, because there is a functioning Democrat Party here. And if you're not liberal, though, you're kind of on your own, which is kind of what you're experiencing.
I think we have some Democrats here that are functioning politically, but that from what I've seen of the Democrat Party, if the Democrat Party is what I saw at the Merkley situation, that is not functioning. That's a mess. I mean, a delusional, distracted, foaming at the mouth, vitriolic mess. So I want to say right now, if I may, if you are a reasonable, level-headed, sane Democrat here in Coos County, will you please reach out to me? Because the Democrat Party cannot be what I saw in that room. So if you are a person who is like looking at your party also and thinking, what the actual F, please reach out to me. I've had quite a few people already collaborate, but some people on the left already, but they've got to be out there, and we've got to find the sane people who are willing to collaborate.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely people out there that need to join there are Democrats out there who need to join their party's leadership and organization and reform it, because unfortunately what you did see at that Merkley event is the local Republican or Democrat Party, and they might be all loosey-goosey in their heads, but they are actually effective and they are actually organized and working. So I think Perry's frozen. Unless he's able to remain that still on his own. But we can hear you, but you're frozen.
I am.
Yeah, you're at least on my screen. Brandi, is he frozen for
Mm-hmm.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
it's a very interesting
Trying to
photo.
get the
I could,
computer all right is probably is
if
something to do.
I can't mute you or turn off your camera. I can only mute you, but if you want to, there
Oh,
you
there
go.
it
That's
went.
better. Your picture was frozen in a very weird spot.
That
Oh,
any
you're
better?
back. There you go.
Okay.
Nope, it froze. I had some questions in the chat. Cheryl says, "Do I need to change my affiliation so I can vote in the primary?" Yes, you have to be registered Democrat or Republican to vote in the primary. I believe those are the only two that will have primaries. You have to be a major political party, and those are, I believe, the only two in Coos County. So,
For partisan positions, you need to be a member of that party, I believe. I don't think you can, I think it's 180 days to get a ballot for that party. But keep in mind that nonpartisan positions, no, you don't have to be registered into a party to vote for nonpartisan, like the commissioner or the
right,
sheriff.
yeah, everyone's going to get a ballot. Just if you're registered Democrat or Republican, your ballot will be much larger, and you'll have uh, partisan positions to vote for. But yeah, commissioner, sheriff, clerk, those are some local positions that are nonpartisan in the fact that there's no party primary, but they're obviously still you have political people who run for those positions. I thought it was 90 days, so I would just
Maybe.
say switch it anyway and just see what the clerk's office, what kind of ballot they give you. There was another question. Dropping ballots at City Hall. You can drop the ballots at any of the ballot
That's a
boxes.
good one.
I don't know about registering to vote. I think that has to be mailed or taken to the clerk's office.
To register to vote, no, you can do it online. It takes about 3 minutes.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
And yes, City Hall is a great option too. Anywhere where there's an official ballot box that is not the USPS, so that you know that it's right to the source. And I feel pretty confident in our county clerks and our local election administrators that here in Coos County, our ballots are not going to get fiddled around with. At least here in Coos County.
Yeah, we need someone to run for county clerk. We've had the same county clerk for a little while here, so if anybody's interested,
Would
if
have been
they
the
know
person that
anybody,
was after Debbie, right? Was Debbie her name?
yeah, there were two people with the same name or same first name, but it's Julie Brecky who's there now. So, I don't know. Don't really get along with her. She doesn't like when people ask questions. Perry, I feel like you've got some thoughts.
But they're pointless thoughts because you're either preaching to the choir or you're preaching to people that'll tell you you're wrong. So,
Well, what do you think about the conservative movement this year? What should we focus on? What do you think we should talk about tomorrow at the meeting? What do you think? What's a big thing we could work on? A winnable goal.
Figuring out how to get more people to vote.
Okay.
I think that's nobody's found a solution. Let me put it that way. And there's got to be a way because we keep waiting for things to just keep getting worse and worse, and it seems like it's getting worse and worse. And the amount of people voting really isn't changing.
I think you just got to find people who are actually able to articulate a solution, and then also they have to be able to convince people that they can actually deliver on it. We have to get those candidates to run and then present them to the people. Like if you go, imagine just walking into Fred Meyer tonight or Walmart, and, walking around and talking to some random people, random new people. Like could you convince them to vote for our current candidates? You know, like we could sit there and explain like, oh, Brandi, she's really approachable. She's going to all these meetings. She's doing a good job. But and this is no knock on anybody in particular, but it's like, can you convince random stranger that we actually have a plan to actually solve things and can actually do it? Because it's like when I ran 2 years ago, I thought I had a pretty good plan, but that plan has been blown to smithereens at this point. Like it was based on, you know, us having a certain number of sheriff's deputies and prosecutors and some money. We had some reserve funds, and now we don't have those reserve funds, and we've laid off sheriff's deputies and prosecutors. So, you know, my whole pitch on, hey, I can solve the crime problem wouldn't work this time around. So yeah, it's like, I don't envy you, Brandi. I mean, you've got a tough job. You've got to be able to sell people on, yes, I have solutions, and yes, they will work. How do you do that to random strangers right now? Like
You don't. That's not the approach at all. For one, I don't have solutions. I have an extremely well-developed ability to work with just about anyone. I think our community has solutions. My skill is pulling those solutions out of the community and creating an environment where those ideas can be properly explored and executed. So yeah, it's a little bit different approach, I would imagine. My job is to be a voice for the people, to poke where the people want me to poke the state. You know, there's going to be a lot of work up in Salem that has to be done. Lots of coordinating and pushing back against the state, like some of what is going on right now, where the state's was trying to get us to take responsibility for the overflow from the state mental hospital without promising any money to do it. That was a huge legal liability that they were trying to transfer to the counties. And it's the commissioner's job to catch those and push back on it and say no. So there's a lot of that. Really, though, what's going to motivate people to vote is not facts and logic. It's going to be emotion. And the way we go about provoking that emotion is going to define how well we lead. Because you can either provoke with negative emotion or you can provoke with positive emotion. And one requires significantly more skill than the other. It doesn't take a lot of skill to get people to vote out of panic, rage, fear. It does take some skill to get people to vote because they feel empowered and courageous. So making people feel like we have a chance and that they can vote for someone that actually has the balls to say the truth in a room full of people that don't want to hear the truth, that's what's going to inspire people to vote.
I agree that that is a realistic approach for this election, for sure. I guess what I was saying was more geared towards Paris. Like, how do we get a lot? I was assuming he was saying like a lot more people to vote.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, how do we double the amount of people who are voting, right? If you're only getting a quarter of the registered voters to vote, how do we get to half? And
so what we did in New York City was actually we door knocked. We had call lists, call rosters, and we cold called people, talked to people, and we door knocked. I actually did this. I would go up in an apartment building in Manhattan, and I would have a list of all of the people that I was going to talk to in that building, maybe 15 different apartments or whatever. And you literally talk to them about why their vote matters and how their vote matters and what it does if you don't cast a vote, and how you basically are handing your power to a person to make a decision for you. I'm probably going to buy billboards, and my billboards are probably going to say, if you don't vote, nothing changes. Register to vote, and I'll probably have a QR code on the billboard that people can actually scan that will literally just take you to either, I might do a web page on my commissioner's site that has like web page where you can register to vote, and I'll embed it or whatever, or link it or do something. But yeah, I'll have something on there, and I'll probably buy big signs, big billboards, that and door knocking. We need volunteers to actually. So the majority of my campaign is going to be pushing people to register and vote. Because again, if people don't vote, I don't win. Like we get the status quo, we get more of the same. So that's kind of literally meeting with people is how you do it.
For sure. We need a whole army to do that, and then we need a whole slate of candidates to run. I mean, like in November, you've got all the city council positions up. I mean, I don't even. We just don't have people that I've talked to recently that are willing to step up and run. A lot of the people I talk to, because I every time I talk to people, I'm like, "Do you live inside a city limit? Like, are you inside any city?" And it's like almost always no.
County.
Or then when I do find somebody, they're like, "Heck no, I'm not running for city council."
A lot of people I've spoke to are they're scared of like some of the things that have happened to me with the harassment. They're scared of that. And I don't know, like, at what point is that a civil rights violation where an individual, because people get the First Amendment very twisted. I don't think it means what people think it means. So you actually don't have a right to harass someone to the point where they're intimidated to participate in civic activity. So I don't like at what point, like when I've had person after person after person tell me that they don't want to run for office because they're afraid of being personally attacked, like I have been, like you would, this on one hand, it's like, okay, well, don't I'm trying to clean up my mouth. Don't be a chicken, have some courage, because it's really not that bad. But when you first get into it, it's very intimidating just for that reason. But then once you get into the fun stuff, like right now, I'm having conversations with our commissioners, got together with some ranchers, some local ranchers, and one of the commissioners down in Curry County. And we're looking to see if we can really get together enough head of cattle to bring in a USDA meat processing plant. And it's looking like the answer might be yes. And that's the fun stuff, like where you get to collaborate with people that are like just as enthusiastic about development and industry and economy as you are. Then you get into all of the really exciting fun stuff. But I think people have been too exposed to too much vitriol and too much hostility and too much interrogation and too much vitriol. And they're scared of it.
Well, you need to hear, like, people need to hear your name from probably, I don't know, at least 20 people that they trust and respect.
Yeah.
To really drive that vote home.
20 might be high. 20 might be high.
I'm thinking for you to win in a landslide. But yeah, you know, that's what, or at least that's my goal. If we get to like 5 people, then hey, we're doing good. But
Yeah.
I'd want to shoot for 20. You know, seriously, like that's what I'm doing with like Monique Despain, for example. You know, we just had her here in November. We're having her here again. I hope she comes every month to Coos County, and we'll keep doing it. And if she comes every month from now to the election, well, there's 10 times people are going to hear about her, you know, and that's how you silence what I'm assuming we're talking about, the knucklehead that is Sal Carruthers, the sex offender, who spews ridiculous hate online, and that is how you silence that person. Is you have a lot more people speaking out good about candidates. So
well, man, he's really one of the more vocal and vitriolic. I mean, he obviously doesn't work and earn a living. He's obviously sponsored by the government. You can tell by the way he behaves. He's either independently wealthy or sponsored by the government, but you can tell that he does not, because he produces nothing of value. So you can tell that he's not living off an actual income. But there are others, like he's not the only. Yeah, he's not the only one though.
I'll talk to
there's a lady
party people
down
and they
in,
have no affiliation with him, and they think that he's a nut. So
yeah, There's a lady in downtown Coos Bay that wrote a whole song and like straight up called all of the people hosting the Turning Point event fascists. Like, that's disgusting. This is a woman who could very easily come to the fuckers headquarters, shake hands and say, I disagree with you on this and this and this, and I demand you explain yourself. And like, people would have a completely respectful debate with this person. But instead, like an absolute coward, she hides behind a screen and calls her neighbors fascists. My family fled fascism. Like, my grandfather would wash her mouth out with soap after what he went through to get to America and then go back to fight fascism 10 years later in World War II. Wash her mouth out with soap. It's disgusting.
Interestingly enough, she did come to one of our Saturday events, our coffee events. I was having coffee with her before one of the events and invited her down. And she did meet with conservatives, and we were very respectful, and she was too. So yeah, the video, the person you see in that video is not the person that I have interacted with. So it was
because
very interesting.
You get the performative. So she's performing. So my question is the person that you met, who is respectful and polite and put together, is that the real her? Or is the unhinged lunatic that calls her neighbors fascists the real her?
Don't know. Time will tell.
I mean,
yeah, we're gonna have to figure that one out with time. Yeah, we were working on a trivia night. She had an idea for a U.S. history trivia night, have liberals versus conservatives, like a bar trivia, have teams.
That would actually be cool.
Right? And we were
relying on facts, though.
Yeah, we'd have to agree on what questions and answers. But no, we've put together questions and we've started planning it, and I love the idea, and I think it would get us to interact and see the humanity in each other, and potentially get us to work on some local common ground issues. But then all of a sudden that video is posted, and she and some other people are very, very anti our event next week. And it's just like, what a headache, because like here we were trying to do something good and, kind of unifying and reach a common ground. And then I don't know what to do with that. So
it's hard to understand where she's coming from too, because it's like, okay, what triggered you? Like, what caused this change in behavior? And the only thing I can pinpoint is mass media influence. It is journalists telling her what to think about the event, what to think about Turning Point, what to think about the people who host the event. She has literally allowed mass media propaganda to twist her brain and to turn against people who were absolutely ready to collaborate with her. I would be ashamed of myself.
I'm going to have another conversation with her, and we've up until this point, I've only talked to her a couple times, but I haven't talked with her about state or federal politics, really. We've talked about like political philosophy, but not like any specific people or parties or anything like that. And then recently when we met, it was literally like planning the trivia night and talking about like what issues our two sides could work together on, specifically, like very concrete issues. So like none of this stuff came up. And then all of a sudden, somebody had sent me that video that she posted, and I'm like, what? That was far out of left field. And just the complete opposite of our conversations, because like I thought we were in agreement that the only way to move forward is to focus on common ground issues and to not get caught up in the state and federal stuff. And then here, she and some other people are essentially planning to try to disrupt an event that we're putting on, trying to, grow our side and do our thing. And it's just very weird. I don't know. I'm not really prepared to talk about it because it's like a frustrating headache situation.
Well,
but
it's just stupid, because everybody, all these people, they'll say whatever trash they want to say. And you ask a very simple question of, okay, prove it, and nobody ever will. I want one person to prove something bad about this stuff that they've been saying lately. Just prove it.
Well, they're really mad at Charlie, and the dude's dead, so I don't get it. But they're really mad and really don't like Charlie Kirk and anything that has to do with Charlie Kirk. And then the projection makes it worse, right? Like projecting. So say you think he's a fascist. Again, the guy's not with us anymore, so I don't know what your effing deal is. But if you think he's a fascist, great. Why do you think that like we're all fascists then too? That's very weird. I've been involved to some degree with the planning, and I know all the people that are planning it and putting on the event, and none of them are fascists, none of them are racist, none of them are sexist, bigots. Like, I don't get it, some of the stuff that's being said. And then, I guess I don't know the speakers. Like, Mo Bannon is coming. I don't know her. We've got
She's
some
just a
people from Turning
person.
Point coming. But like, I don't think they're gonna come and just spew like racist, bigoted shit.
No.
And if they do, I'll be the first to pop on here
Tell
on
them
Wednesday
to
and be like, "That was
leave."
insane, and is not anything we're ever gonna do again." I'd be offering an apology.
Right?
So I really don't get it. I don't know. It's down to being afraid of the truth, being afraid of maybe understanding that Charlie was a good guy and he was fighting for the right things. I don't know what else would be scarier to somebody who is in denial of the truth, right? Somebody fighting for the truth would be very scary to them.
Yeah.
There is no explanation that I can come up with for why somebody would say the bullshit they're saying.
Mass media manipulation. That's the only thing I can think of is media manipulation.
Okay, even the media, though. But even the media. What actual reason? Are you scared of him being a good person? Do you feel completely inferior and worthless because he's a good person and you're a piece of shit sex offender? I mean, come on. What's the real reasons? There is no valid reason to say the things they're saying. And not even back it up.
Me.
And not even back it up. Just say it. Well, this other person said it, and that's my verification that it's true because somebody else said it. Well, no, that's not proof of anything. Prove what you say. I won't accuse somebody of something unless I have proof, and I'll bring the proof. Why can't you be mature enough to do the same thing? But none of them can be. They're immature little freaking selfish, self-righteous brats.
They definitely have a different way of good job, Perry. They definitely have a different way of interpreting reality. Like when I go to our events, if somebody says something that's just like not true or not verifiable, usually the group like calls them out. Like somebody in there goes like, yo, that's like doesn't make any sense. You got to explain yourself, right? Or they'll just be like, that's not true. And even then, it doesn't come up much. Like people, anyways. Usually people do their fact checking. I've gone to some of these events run by various liberal groups recently, and the amount of false information that is just given as if it's fact. And I'm not talking about like pronouns or anything. I'm talking about like completely objective realities. Like I was at a meeting and they were saying that Rob Taylor, the radio host, is the owner of Herbal Choices. He owns all these pot shops. It's just completely false. It's not a thing. Like it just, and they were saying it as if they knew this was fact. And it just doesn't make any, like, why? What, like, and I could go on and on and on. There's so many like bizarre assumptions about things and what is true and what is not. And then it's like, and then they just project it. So like, maybe you're just some rando person that showed up to one of those meetings. You wanted to get involved, you're a Democrat or you're a liberal, and you start hearing these things and they're coming from people who present themselves as trustworthy leaders. All of a sudden, now you're going around saying those things. And, you know, whether Rob owns Herbal Choices or not is not necessarily a bad thing, but it just, the jumping to conclusions making assumptions, presenting them as fact.
They create
I've
a
never seen
narrative
that
in their
happen.
head.
They
They
do.
write an entire story about a stranger in their head. I'm not sure if there's like a diagnosis for that, but it's for sure not a healthy thing to be doing with your brain. If you're in concocting whole scenarios in your head about a complete stranger, you got some you work to do. I've run across that a lot, and it is weird.
Well, and you should
You're
seek out
insane
the
if you don't
truth.
live in actual reality. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you don't seek out the truth. I mean, if you just like make shit up all the time and don't even question your own words coming out of your mouth as to whether or not they're true or not, that's scary. You were mentioning earlier at the beginning of the show, like that's scary to be around irrational people. It really is. It's pretty creepy. Anyways, I went to the planning meeting for the protest. Wasn't there to disrupt them or anything, or didn't say anything.
Sure.
Really, I just kind of kept my mouth shut. But the most interesting thing was, like, if we were talking about transgender stuff on the show right now, right? Wouldn't we be using the words like grooming and indoctrinating? Or like, say we were talking about a drag show, like the Egyptian theater had a drag show. I think it was like 2 years ago, and I saw a video on YouTube from that event, and there was like men in drag dancing. There were kids around. To me, like that's grooming. That's indoctrinating, right?
Oh
When I
yeah, if
go
you're
to
bringing children
Marshfield,
around adult sexuality, absolutely, that's sexual grooming. I don't care. I don't care who you are. I'll go toe
and
to
I
toe with any academic and argue that.
and Perry, I think you've seen this. We've been to Marshfield, and there's pride flags and transgender flags hanging up in classrooms, like visibly facing the outside exterior of the building. I mean, that's a political symbol in a classroom. That's indoctrinating, right? But anyway, so like conservatives, I've only really heard those words, grooming and indoctrinating, around conservatives, right? That like that to me, and it fits. It's objective. That does seem to be. I went to college, and they do indoctrinate you. They try to indoctrinate liberal ideology into you. Anyways, so I'm at this event. They talked about conservatives, and specifically the Turning Point event, as an indoctrination and grooming operation.
Of course they
Can you
did.
believe it's
It's
insane?
projection.
What are
It's
you
projection.
grooming?
So here's
Perry, I don't know.
let's just be very clear though, because words matter, right? Indoctrination is the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. When have you ever been in a room with any of us conservatives where any belief was accepted uncritically? We're probably
I
the
haven't.
most critical people in the county.
Right. That's why we're
On
always
its
fighting each
face,
other.
on its
Yeah.
face, the definition doesn't fit. And then grooming, like what is the definition of grooming? It's we've got sexual grooming, a predator building trust and manipulating a child to gain access for future sexual abuse. And then there's political ideological grooming, that's indoctrinating or brainwashing individuals to adopt certain beliefs or behaviors. And that's probably what they are
That's what I'm
asserting.
seeing.
But the problem is the key to indoctrination is uncritically. There is nothing that is being presented to us where we're expected to digest it without critical thought. In fact, if I go to this, sorry, go ahead.
You're good. You're good. I was just saying, like, the crazy thing was, if I took away any of the details in the conversation and just replayed, like, say I had recorded that and I could replay it right now, and we took out all the like underlying details and just the high level ambiguous statements about indoctrinating, grooming, it literally sounded like a meeting where people were organizing to protest a drag show, or like a drag story time reading. I mean, like, that's
Yeah.
what it
Okay,
felt
yeah.
like I was at. Like, everything they were saying, if you took out the words like Turning Point or, Rob Taylor, or like, the details, the
Yeah.
specific details of what they were talking about, the event, the date, the time, if you took all that out and replaced it with any sort of liberal event,
Yeah.
it sounded like a group of conservatives trying to organize to protest it, because they were saying that we need to stop these conservatives from indoctrinating our children. They were like afraid that they're going to groom our school children
Insane.
and instill their conservative values in them and turn them against us. I mean, it was like insane. But
this is a group of
let's just
people who
take out-
literally teach discourse.
Yep.
Discourse means argument, like fancy arguments. It means respectful arguments. That's literally critical thought in action. It's the opposite.
That was
It's
what
such
Charlie
an
stood
absurd thing to say. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
But
Like
let's just take
how
out
ignorant do you
who's
have
correct.
to be?
Let's just take out for a second who's correct, right? The fact that you have two far ends of a spectrum saying the other is doing the same exact thing, like, where are we right now in the world, right? Like, who's right then? If they're saying we're grooming and
Marco.
we're saying they're grooming, who's
Use the
truth?
definition of the word grooming and indoctrination, and there you go. That paints the picture of your answer for you. Use the definition of those words.
I mean,
And
I
then,
agree with you, but that's my point, is like, you don't have to set, but
Yeah.
like, they're on their
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
If they're watching this right now, they're probably screaming at us. You guys
Well,
are wrong, right? It's like, how do we fix
Let's
this?
play it out. Let's play it out. Okay, so grooming. So it's, in theory, turning points for minors. But
Check.
and then okay, so Christianity would be the grooming part of it.
There's political and ideological. So conservative politics,
But I
grooming.
can't think of anything worse than, according to them, the Christian side of it.
Okay.
Like,
mean-
if they were talking about that, I could see them making an argument for indoctrination, right? I mean, literally, like, churches have doctrines, and you indoctrinate. Like, anyone who's
Right.
been through any sort of like schooling as a young kid from the church, it's kind of indoctrinating.
Right.
But that's not what Turning Point is. That's not this event at
Yeah.
all.
Right. But at that, okay, so they're there at this one event. There's never any events like this ever around here. So one event. So it's not grooming just because it's one event. So, but even
Right.
at that, you go to the one event, they make their speech about whatever all they want to talk about, and a kid goes, "Yes, Christianity's for me." That's when I'm okay. So they leave the event. Now what? Are there people just dragging these kids to church every week? Where's the continuation of it? They don't go to school and see the pride flags. They don't go to all over town and see whatever they see and do, and no, it's one event. There
Yep.
is no, it doesn't fit. And
It
then
doesn't. It's insane.
and then so the other part of it is, okay, Christian values, which are all good. The worst one that they would like is that gays and trans are sinning. That's the worst that's said about it. So that's the worst, and everything else,
Which I've literally never heard any conservative tell me. Like, anyone I've interacted with in the couple years that I've been doing this, being, entering the political arena, I've not had that conversation with. It's not on the top of mind of any conservative in the area. It has not been brought up at any sort of planning for this particular event. It's not even remotely anything anybody cares about.
and this is the worst of the
insane.
worst that I can even think of, and
Right.
it's not bad.
Right.
Christian values. Yeah, everybody should strive to have Christian values. That should be sort of your moral compass.
I know so many addicts
that's
who
what they have.
literally, their life was literally saved by their faith. Like Jesus literally does save a lot of people, and trying to take that away from people is monstrous.
So if you can spell it out like that pretty simply, the only thing they are afraid of is opposition of what they want.
Bingo.
There you go. Bingo.
So if you'd like, I could do a little quick overview of like some of the covert abuse tactics that are wrapped up in this concept, right? So there is an attempted isolation. So by protesting this event, what do they want to do? They want to keep conservatives from coming together, commingling with each other, getting to know each other, and supporting each other.
Well, they even
Isolation.
promote that this is the first Turning Point event in Oregon in like 3 or 4 years or something like that.
Yes.
Like it's like
They
okay,
want to
like Perry
isolate
said,
people
this
like
is only
every
one
other
event.
abuser. But there's more. Hold on. Covert intimidation through fear mongering. Sound familiar? Be a shame if something happened to your theater. And I've seen some of the things where people have actually written that they would like to see violence happen to people attending this event. Fear mongering.
Just
Covert
even the fear
intimidation.
mongering with certain details, like I mentioned the thing
Yep.
about Rob owning the pot shops, and then they went on talking about how when young kids are inebriated, they're more susceptible to being indoctrinated and groomed by conservative values. I kid you not. And they, that was like kind of all tied back to Rob owning these pot shops. That to me that's the fear mongering.
Wow.
Like that
okay,
is
so no,
bizarre.
that's something else. That is, I would call that, God, would we say rewriting? No, it's not rewriting history.
What were we gonna say, Perry? You had something.
It's just that they consider themselves good people, but yet they're the ones that are throwing bricks at the Egyptian theater. They're the ones making threats. They're the ones doing all of this, and in all of their events, I don't hear
No,
countywide talk like what they're doing.
no. People leave
So
them
who's
alone.
really the decent person? And then they'll
No,
say,
well-
"Oh, well, we're
When
okay
they
because you're bad," and that's their
when they
excuse.
did the drag show at the Egyptian, I didn't protest it. A bunch of us were upset about it, and we didn't protest it. You know what I did? I haven't been to the Egyptian theater since. I have not supported them because of it. That's what I did. It was just a silent protest. You don't get my money. You put on weird crap like that, you don't get my money. And now here we are having an event there.
But we
and I've
didn't
gotten a
feel the
chance
need to call them and leave nasty voicemails
No, I
irrationally.
didn't even say
So-
anything. Never even mentioned it. Super weird to me that they would put that on with kids around. That's not okay, but whatever.
breaking
each their own.
boundaries, breaking children's boundaries around adult sexuality. So we have more covert
Pretty
abuse
weird.
tactics here. What we're talking about right now would be accusations and smear campaign, right? So we've got that going on.
Well, they need to hold themselves to a higher standard than they hold others to, and they won't. They'll find excuses. They'll do whatever they can, and it's okay. And it's a pretty shitty way to live your life.
I just don't know why they don't like put on their own event then. Like they already do their Saturdays at the boardwalk, and some
you
of them
don't
have been well
understand,
attended.
Chris.
But like, why don't they put on a liberal values night at the
Because
at the
this
Egyptian
isn't-
theater and bring in speakers?
It's not what this is about.
Oh, I know.
Chris, this is about breaking boundaries. Make no mistake, this is narcissists who have taken aim at a boundary.
Yep.
Right? Like this is not about being constructive. This is not about having a voice. This is about control and oppression.
Well, they bastardized the First Amendment. They think that they have the right to protest, and that means that they can go
Be
ape shit
disruptive.
and do whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
The First Amendment says that you have the right to peaceably assemble.
That means
peaceably
we are exercising
assemble.
our First Amendment right by assembling at the Egyptian theater. And if they make people
Exactly.
feel intimidated to go there out of fear for their safety, they are committing a civil rights violation. How do you think you're the good guy when you are
Exactly.
infringing on people's rights? You're literally doing the thing you claim to hate.
And
God,
they've
I
been
can't
open
stand
about it.
hypocrites.
Their actual intention
Yeah,
is to disrupt the
scare
event,
people.
to
Yeah. And you
protest the
think you're
event.
the good guy.
Yep.
Like
And they think it's
the lack of
constitutionally protected. And I don't
self-awareness.
mean that means, oh, you guys are going to get sued. The cops are going to come and take you away. No, but like when you think that you have the right to just act a fool because it's in the Constitution, well, read it again because it's not. You have the right to assemble and be peaceful about it. Anything else than that,
And so
you
just an
are acting a
FYI,
fool on your own and it's not constitutionally protected.
correct. And when you travel from outside the area to violate the civil rights of others, there are special caveats in the law for that, especially carved out. And I will say that if me and my family are in any way have our civil rights violated, I will sue. And I do already have a lawyer on retainer for it. So I hope, I'm assuming there's going to be cameras everywhere recording everything because we
They're already all
definitely,
set up.
yep, we want to have all of these people on camera.
It would have been nice if Drew Farmer would have denounced what garbage is going on, but that
I agree with you, Perry.
Fanned the flame.
No,
Well,
he did.
and we also hold conservatives accountable for the whole protesting too. Like if a bunch of conservatives want to go to Salem or Washington and
I would
break
not
stuff
support
and
that.
intimidate people and fight the police, I do not support that. I did not agree with what happened on January 6th. I did not agree with what happened at the Salem at the Capitol here in Oregon.
Same.
And recently we've even had people. There have been actual people involved in the Oregon Republican Party that have gone to like Portland to like defend the ICE building and like I guess like protect the ICE. Like they go there with this intent to like be like a counter protest, I guess, to the protests against ICE. Anyways, it's confusing, but they'll get violent and they'll start fighting with people, and it's like
Those
is
are
not okay.
narcissists. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, dude,
and they film it,
these
and
are
it's like
people who are, they're
crazy.
doing this for them. They're doing it to serve their ego need. It's the same type of person who's protesting the Egyptian. They are not doing this for anything other than their own ego need so they can feel significant. It's pathetic.
It does seem that way for sure.
And I mean, I would be so humiliated if I act like such a fool. Like, oh my goodness. I'm glad I only went to one protest in my life, and it was for a tuition increase.
There you go. You mentioned the girl did the video, and it's just like such a bummer because like we were discussing something that seemed constructive and wholesome to me, getting two sides together, having a fun time, seeing
I think you
humanity
called her
in one
bluff.
another.
I think we got to see what kind of person she really is. And I think her niceness hanging out with her was a performance. Maybe she can become a better actress.
If Emily, if you're watching this, we should talk, but also please, think of that. Like, please be mindful. I mean, I don't want to like tell you to call off the protest, but like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And
I will.
I don't know how
don't
you
do
have
it.
that.
It's gross.
Here's what
like,
I'll say.
Yeah, they have a right to do it.
I just don't know how you
have
have this protest without proving to our community that you're not interested in working together. Like how do you hold those two things in both hands at the same time, right? Like how do you say we want to work together, we want to focus on local issues, we want to be constructive, we want to see the humanity in one another, yet you're going to come and try and be disruptive and say all these crazy things, make assumptions. I hope you don't do that. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to see. That's why I went to the meeting. I wanted to know what they were planning because out of curiosity, not to like tattle on, they're planning this. Like I literally was, how do you wrap your head around saying you're good people? Like Perry's saying, they think they're good people. how are you a good person and you care about our community and everybody working together, yet you're going to come to this event and essentially project
Scare
things
people.
upon us? Yeah.
Scare people
And
that want to
think that
learn how to
because you
get
see me
involved in their
walking into the
government.
theater or see some random stranger walking into the theater, you're going to make assumptions about them. Isn't that bigoted? To
It's
just judge
very
somebody
bigoted.
without knowing who they are? I just, I think
Oh
it's
man, I heard
beyond.
this really cool term that I think applies here really well, and it is the anti-intellectual nerd. It is the
What?
nerd. Yeah. Okay. So it is the person who doesn't really have any actual experience with the thing that they're very passionate about. So they don't actually know enough about the subject to have an informed opinion. However, they have this super strong, passionate opinion and will argue with you to the end of the earth about things that they have completely wrong or they don't fully understand, they've never fully researched, about people they've never met. And this is kind of a version of the anti-intellectual nerd.
Well, when you explain
Like
it
these
that
are,
way, I felt like I was in a room full of people just like that when they were having a
yeah,
planning meeting. Well, because somebody brought up, like, like we broke out into little groups and like thoughts exercises and we're, brainstorming like things that we could do. How do we protest Turning Point? What's the constructive way to do it? And some people were like, well, like, what if, I mean, I don't know how much to say, but they were like, well, what if we go into the event? And people were like, no, you don't want to hear what they have to say. And I found that shocking. Like, they actually like poo-pooed the idea of going in and hearing what we were going to say. And that shocked me. I was not
did it?
expecting that. Well, because I guess I try and think of these people as neighbors and community members that are good intentioned. So yes, it was shocking to me coming from that perspective because that doesn't sound like somebody who is a good community member with good intentions, because you
Right.
don't want to know, when you layer that on top, that was the top layer. I know everything underneath was like a half an hour of like false assumptions and false pretenses, and then you lay that on top, that you don't even want to verify all this crap that you are thinking and feeling
Yep.
about this group of people. You don't even want to get to know them. You don't even want to know what is going on in that room. You just
Because
want
they're
to
there to
think
perform.
you know what's on in that room and protest against it. That's maddening.
Because
Terry, are
Chris,
you still with us?
this is
Yeah.
You still there? All
it's
right.
it's fully disingenuous. These are not people who are interested in really getting to the truth. Because if you really want the truth, you do listen to both sides. So they're not interested in the truth. They are interested in putting on a performance. They want to take this event with people who want, and they want to use it as as a stage for them to perform. And I'm sorry, but it stinks of narcissism.
I
It's
hope that people, if anyone's listening to this who was in that meeting from the other side, I hope you don't think that I went to that just so I could come on here and talk about the meeting. But I just have to say, you guys shocked me. I really had low expectations going into that, and I did not. I think I kind of like knew who you guys were and what you stand for. I've interviewed you guys at the boardwalk when you do your protests. Like I've had coffee with a few of you. I thought I knew who you people were, and some of the stuff you guys said right in front of me, knowing full well who I was, shocked me. Really did. Like, actually, like, I walked away from that like utterly baffled and a little depressed. Like, and it stuck with me for days. That it was like, what? This is what you people think and do with your time? It like the
all
fact
of
that
their
was a big
nice,
one. The fact that
straight
they
up
did not
performance.
want to go into the event and hear what we were going to talk about, and then they actively poo-pooed other people who might have wanted to, right? Like somebody raises their hand and goes, how about we blank? And if everybody jumps on and goes, yeah, that's a good idea, what is everybody gonna do? They're probably all gonna do that idea. But if the opposite happens, somebody says, maybe we
Right.
should blank, and then they go, no, bad idea. it doesn't end up happening. So it's like you guys
Well,
could have all said, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go in and actually, like, let's do our protest, but then let's go in and peaceably listen to what they're saying. So then afterwards we can report back on what they said. Nope, they
But
don't want to do that.
no, because if they did, and they, for some reason, had the thought of honestly reporting back on what went on, they wouldn't be able to honestly
Their
say it's
whole
a fast
narrative would explode.
exactly. So they can't go in there because they can continue to
bingo.
assume.
Well, I will leave them with this challenge. If any of you are watching, and I'm sure some of you are, I challenge you to come in and listen. I came into your place and I listened, and I didn't interrupt. I wasn't rude. I listened. I dare you. I double dog dare you to come in and meet with us, shake our hands, and listen to what we have to say. I'll bet you $100 it'll blow your mind, and you won't have shit to say afterwards. I dare
But
you.
this is why 13 minutes into this podcast, I said, I'm either going to be preaching to the choir, or it'll be the people that tell me I'm flat out wrong no matter what. And that's what we're doing.
So how do we fix that? That's what I was kind of getting at earlier. It's like I'm
You
in
have-
that meeting and it's like, wow, they say what we say and we say what they say, and we both think we're right. We
Well-
both think we're good people. So
we can back
How do
up
we fix
anything
that?
we say with facts. They can't. They have to learn
Definitions
how to
matter.
require
but in their
fact.
environment, in their side of the world, they don't have to. They can back it up with emotion, and that has
Right.
replaced fact in their world.
Right.
Bingo.
Until they hold themselves to a higher standard, to a standard that they hold everybody else to, supposedly, nothing will change, because anybody can come up with an excuse why they want to murder somebody. The fact that it's
Yep.
wrong is a different story.
I have recently learned that some of these people don't even think that murder is wrong as long as they think the person deserved to die. I don't know how you build bridges like that, Chris, and I bless you for trying. I was really looking forward to trying until I went to that Merkley event, and after that, these are not people that I want to be around. I don't
Well,
think they're safe. I think
I'm
they're
still holding out
unsafe
for a few of
people.
them.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
for the
asked,
most part.
I've asked probably 100 times online when I see somebody making a claim that's not true. Okay, where'd you find that information? Show me where it's true. I've never gotten a reply, not one time. That
Yeah.
tells you that tells you everything you need to know right there.
Yep. And that's why a lot of them would rather just we be dead. That's what gets people killed, is when you put people in a position where you counter their shit, you counter their nonsense, and they can't rebuttal it. And so it's the coward who won't come to the stage and actually have a conversation with you. It's the one that hides in the back, that won't, the one that won't risk being told they're wrong and having to confront their own misconceptions. Those are the ones that are legit.
It's not an intellectual conversation.
No.
It's very basic, second grade debate. You can't even call it a debate because there's no back and forth. But it's second grade teaching. Okay, you say that, well, prove it. They can't grow past that. So
Right.
Well, I believe that there are a few of them that somewhere inside of them, they actually are good people, and they do believe in coming together and working together as a community, and that what we
You're
have to
probably
do
right.
that to move forward. It's being masked with a bunch of other weird stuff that's going on, and that's probably a lot of the environment or the media. Brandi, you talked about that. But I believe if we can start building trust with these people, and that will allow us to start having some of these tough conversations. Because right now, like, yeah, if you're having them online, or if I just like called one of them up and was like, I can't believe you guys said that stuff and it's so stupid and wrong, like we would get nowhere, right? So yeah, in time I think we can start having some conversations and getting somewhere. But yeah, obviously right now is not that time, because it's that was wild. But I would like to give them some airtime if any of them want to come on and try and explain, and I'll give you 10 minutes or however long you
Yeah.
need. I don't even need to interrupt you. You know, you could talk, we could pre-record it, you can edit it, I don't care. Whatever makes you feel comfortable, but please explain to us how conservatives groom people, how we indoctrinate, and but that you also have to explain how your side doesn't. You have to explain how what we say about your side and how you're indoctrinating and grooming children, how wrong that is. I
Definitely
would love
appreciate
to hear that
to
explanation.
participate in that conversation. So I need to get going. My dinner is getting cold.
We went way over an hour, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we didn't touch half the stuff we needed to.
Probably. We'll have
Well,
to
you
do
guys,
this once a week or something.
Yeah.
you guys can stay on and keep going, and I'll pop off if you
No,
want to go
I
over
got
some
it
stuff.
over here too.
Perry doesn't want to talk to me. All right, everybody. Appreciate it. Appreciate everyone watching. Thanks, Brandi. Thanks, Perry. We'll see you around.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow, probably.
I will. I'll see you tomorrow night.